I needed that. The plan for Satoko's dissection is moving right along. I don't want Satoshi to be sad. I feel sympathetic about Satoko's difficult circumstances. I'm still struggling with the fact that I must sacrifice so much for this research. Ire? Huh? Ah, sorry. What is it, Rika? One of my friends has been in the clinic for a long time. Do you think she has the Hinamizawa syndrome? Who told you that? No one. I just thought that. So what do you think, Ire? Does Satoko have the Hinamizawa syndrome? Rika is on our side. There's nothing I have to hide from her. Actually, I think I shouldn't have kept anything from her. Yes. Problems with her parents and their sudden deaths. It was all too much for her to accept. Maybe those events triggered it. What did the test results say? L5. She seems okay on the outside, but she's very unstable emotionally. She has been refusing even Satoshi's visits since the other day. Satoshi told me. He's worried that it's taking a very long time for Satoko to heal emotionally. Ire, what will happen to Satoko? Satoko is Rika's best friend. How can I tell her that Satoko's dissection is being planned? However, even if I didn't say anything, she already knows that Satoko's situation is extremely bad. Didn't you find out a lot of things when you checked me? Sure, of course. There's even some medicine being tested which may control the symptoms. Can't you give that medicine to Satoko? I thought about it, but it's too dangerous. We're still in the trial stages, trying to gather more data. We can't use it on someone who's in a delicate condition like Satoko. It's better than fucking nothing. In dissecting her. Then, if you aren't going to try that medicine, what will help Satoko? She speaks as if she already knows Satoko will end up being dissected. She must know. I've told her about most of my research. If she's more mature than she looks, then it'll be easy for her to figure out. If there's even a 1% chance of Satoko getting better, then I think we should take that chance. It's extremely risky. In the worst case scenario, she may end up being a vegetable. That's too cruel. You wanna fucking cut her up? So are you saying it's better to let her die while she's asleep? Ooh. Ire, just like Takano says, there's no 100% in medicine. But if we don't do anything, Satoko will die for sure. I think it's clear that what we should do. That's true. You're right. Well, I know too well. C-103, the medicine that's being tested, may not be something that can be used. It may not even have a 1% chance. If she reacts to the medicine, I can't even imagine what will happen. That's why I'm tempted to think it's more merciful to let her have what she wants first, and then just dissect her while she's asleep. I don't want to admit it, but Takano is right. I'm still being indecisive. How can an indecisive person like me create something that's effective? That's why I can't trust what I've created. I think we can trust the medicine you created. She speaks as if she read my mind. I look up and see a very positive look in her eyes. People's lives depend on your job. It's almost absurd that a human being controls life and death. I can't even imagine the pressure. Her voice sounds the same, but I feel like Rika is admonishing me. She almost sounds as if she knows what it is like to be responsible for human lives. The pressure includes guilt and regret. That's why you can't use the medicine on Satoko. Isn't that right? Takano said the same thing when she criticized me before. I'm being criticized again. It seems like there's a recurring trend going on here, Ire. But that's why I trust you as Satoko. Yeah, as long as he doesn't fucking cut open her brain. What? Human lives are precious. You understand that very well, and that's why you're doing what you're doing. Without knowing that, how could you heal people? Do you think I'd trust medicine created by Takano who thinks humans are just guinea pigs? I shouldn't have laughed, but I couldn't help it. I feel like I should laugh. If you and Takano each handed out your medicine, I think your medicine would cure her, and hers wouldn't, because your medicine came from your heart. Your will to heal people is what cures people. You're absolutely right. I can't believe you're admonishing me about medicine. I let you use my body for Satoko. Everything you took out from my body is for Satoko. If you created the medicine realizing how precious lives are, then of course it will work on Satoko. Do shrine maidens take confessions? If they do, she's doing a great job being a shrine maiden at this age. This will be a gamble. The question is whether Satoko will accept it. Okay, so I see that Rika obviously cares about Satoko a lot. Like to a huge degree. Huge amount that she cares about Satoko. Now would I do the same? God, I would have to really care about someone to be able to fucking have a hole drilled in my skull and they take out cerebral spinal fluid. Oof. God, I just hate that fucking idea. Ugh. Learned all about that shit, and I'm not about that. I could go my whole life without getting that shit tested. We don't need to tell her. It'll only damage her more to know about the Hinamizawa syndrome. The true meaning of her words. When I realized it later, I was surprised how thoughtful and perceptive she was. Let's start the dissection plan. We're going to give Hojo Satoko C103. I'll do my best to increase the chance given by 1%, even by 1%. Don't worry, Yurei. It'll work. You shouldn't be so optimistic. I know it'll work. It's already decided. You say that it's the Shrine Maiden of the Furude Shrine, don't you? You can do it. Yay! Oh, good old Rika. I can't believe I'm actually making progress in this stupid-ass fucking puzzle. Ugh. God, it's fucking difficult. Discontinuation. Yeah, I can do this one now. The experiment of the medicine C103 on Satoko is going well so far. It wouldn't make any difference to me if the experiment failed. I know Takano. However, as a result of Irei's extraordinary devotion, Hojo Satoko didn't end up a vegetable. Although she has reached out level L5, there is hope for her to go back to her normal life. C103 still has many issues, but this experiment proved that even a person who has reached L5 can be cured. I didn't believe in it at first, but I guess I have to acknowledge Irei's effort. Thanks, Takano. Only Irei could have done this. He was tormented by naive humanism and didn't want to make mistakes. This is why he felt obligated to cure Satoko, Hojo Satoko. Oh god, how dare him care about other humans. Ugh. The reason why I dislike Irei isn't because of his achievements or his ability, but because of his weakness. But this time I had to praise him for that. I saw your report. I'm impressed. Please don't. I only did my job. I'm grateful that I was able to cure her. Satoko's an extremely important example now. She's the first one to come back from L5. That's true. We'll let her go back to society and keep our eyes on her. I'm going to tell her to come here every Sunday for a checkup. But are you going to explain to her that she has to give herself a C103 shot 3 times a day, and also that she has to come here every Sunday? She has no subjective symptoms. I'm still trying to come up with a good excuse. I think I'll tell her that I want her to help me with my research report. She has to give herself shots daily and come to here every Sunday for a checkup. I'll pay her for helping me, or something like that. I guess Irei is determined to cure Hojo Satoko no matter what. He must be determined not to dissect her. He definitely has a different point of view than I do, but as long as he's passionate about the research, I have no objection. His plan will come to a completely different conclusion, and it will help solve the mysteries of the Hinamizawa syndrome. I have nothing against Hojo Satoko. I only see her as a specimen for the research. If she is useful for the research without being dissected, that's perfectly fine with me. We had to get permission from her guardian for giving shots 3 times a day. After her parents died, her aunt and uncle have been taking care of her, right? Maybe I'll go talk to them. I hope they agreed to her involvement in this suspicious research. Oh, don't worry. I'm sure they'll be happy to once they realize they'll receive 100,000 to 200,000 yen every month for helping. Damn! That's a lot of money. Do we have enough money? Sure. As long as we can come up with enough material to convince Jiro. Okay, then I'll work on that. We also have to make sure that Satoko doesn't feel pressured. We don't want her to go back to L5. I hear her aunt or uncle are rather egoistic. I know egotistic, but not egoistic. Whatever. So if we use money, maybe they can be convinced easily. I have to come up with a good tactic, too. I've heard Satoko isn't getting along with her uncle and aunt and uncle. I never thought they'd affect us in any way. But now Ire has to deal with them. Maybe he feels some kind of responsibility. I don't care. If he becomes more passionate, then the research will make progress. That'll be a plus for me. By the way, I saw the report on H170. Oh? Compared to your success, it's nothing, but I guess it was some kind of accomplishment. This is ironic. The medicine to cure her from insanity was created at the same research center where we're making dangerous medicine that would make her insane. Ire wasn't involved in the H170 research. That was my research. Oh, hey look, Rico was right. Her research wouldn't help anyone, it wouldn't cure anyone. Her research kills people. In fact, even if I asked him, he wouldn't have agreed to be involved. This dangerous medicine was made during the process of studying the mechanism of the pathogen that controlled Hojo Satoko's brain. To put it in simpler terms, if you give H170 to patients with Hinamizawa syndrome, they will become deadly insane. The brain will be stimulated as a result, and it will make the pathogen unstable. If we continued the research on this dangerous medicine, it would be possible to drive any Hinamizawa syndrome patient deadly insane at any time. Why the fuck would you want to make that? By studying the mechanism, it will help solve the mystery of the Hinamizawa syndrome. So this study on H170 will be extremely important in future research. Also, this medicine has a military use, as their client requested. At this point, there's absolutely no use for it. But once the research progresses, this C-170 may be used by scattering it at the right moment for a certain type of reaction. Compared to a killer virus, it seems like a useless pathogen. But there's no way to detect it in a body, and it makes it look like a person just went insane spontaneously, so there must be a use for it. The Roko Bridge incident threatened to end the Hinamizawa syndrome research before. A historically important incident like that couldn't have been created by a killer virus. But it's possible with the Hinamizawa syndrome. The elderly people from the Alphabet Project and the sponsor for this project can think whatever they want about that. I don't care how they use it. My purpose is to solve the mysteries of the Hinamizawa syndrome and to let people know how important the research is. Also to make people acknowledge my grandfather's accomplishment and achievement. I couldn't care less if they diverted it to military use. God, you're fucked up. How can you just be complacent with that? What the hell's wrong with you? The clients will like your accomplishment. Maybe the budget will increase next term. Passion alone can't keep the research going. We need money. We must thank the sponsor who gives such abundant funds. For this much money to come from public expenses? Maybe Japan is richer than I thought. It's public expenses, but it's public expenses that can't be made public. Ire has no idea what I had to go through to get that. Anyway, the research is going extremely well. We don't know what we'll find out about the Hinamizawa syndrome. While I'm sure every mystery will be solved, I can hardly wait. The Hinamizawa syndrome is indicating that humans are simply empty containers, and what we believe is our will to control is controlled by parasites that live in our brains. If that mystery was solved, it would have a greater impact than anything that happened in the past. There's a truth nobody wants to believe. The achievement my grandfather already predicted a long time ago will happen. I know now. I know the reason why my grandfather was so fascinated by this research. Oh, man. God, there's so much information getting tossed around here now. It's crazy. And I'm finally glad that I'm actually making real progress. Holy shit, it actually feels like I've made progress through these things. A lot of shit's blue. Third year hasn't happened, that hasn't happened, that hasn't happened. I don't have that yet. C117, I think I had that. H170, C103. No, I don't have 117. I don't have him. Promise, don't have his promise. Wait. Did I do red? No, red capsule is the third year. Yeah. Can I do this yet? No. Death of Satoko's aunt is required. It hasn't happened yet. Can I do this now? Yes, I can do this now. Satoko's dissection plan has been scrubbed, and we are getting ready to administer a totally unsafe test medicine, C103. This test medicine suppresses the production of a certain type of hormone, and by doing so, it will stop the transmission of the Hinamizawa syndrome, which triggers Satoko's condition. The mechanism of the Hinamizawa syndrome is this. The pathogen takes over the frontal lobe of the patient's brain, which causes a patient to be extremely sensitive and to be paranoid. And as a result, the patient voluntarily carries out excessively defensive, problematic behaviors. If this induction can be cut off, then it will be possible to save terminal phase patients from becoming deranged. But if it only cuts off an induction, so it's not really a cure. Ironically, the brain is an organ that learns. Once the brain has learned to be excessively paranoid due to the Hinamizawa syndrome, even after the pathogen is eliminated, the brain has already learned to not resist paranoia. In other words, when the pathogen doesn't include the condition, the patient voluntarily induces it. Therefore, there's no way to cleanly escape from a near-mad condition like L5. The proverb blowing the sashimi after being burned by the hot soup refers to such conditions. Even after your tongue's burn heals, you still have the fixed fear of being burned by food again. No, that's no. Actually, I don't experience that, actually. Because I have been burned by food, and I'm like, it still tastes good. Still tastes fine. It's called learning a lesson, in a good way, and trauma in a bad way. This treatment will probably take a long time, requiring medical treatment, such as administering antidepressants, and also emotional treatment, such as counseling. We have to slowly relax the paranoia while suppressing the Hinamizawa syndrome's induction of derangement. This is the treatment plan for terminal phase patients like Satoko. However, we are going to stimulate the parts of her brain that control her emotions, while they're being stimulated by the pathogen at the same time. There's a possibility of unexpected side effects. Her physical and mental strength holds the key to success. The experiment is supposed to start once she regains emotional stability and physical strength. But someone who threats to disturb her emotional stability has been coming every day. Fuck off, Oishi. Oishi, the sly old detective from Okonomiya Station. He thinks everything from the dam protest to the dismemberment murder of the dam construction site manager is an organized crime secretly conducted by the three families of the village. He even thinks the accident, including Satoko's parent, wasn't an accident. That's why he keeps coming back to talk to Satoko. No matter how many times you come, I won't let you see Satoko. She's still crippled by the shock of her parents' death. Can't you understand what she's been going through? I understand. I only need a few minutes with her, really. It won't take that long at all. If you want me to get a warrant, I will, but that's pretty serious, you know? I'm being considerate of Hojo's condition. That's why I haven't gotten a warrant. What are you trying to ask her anyway? I just don't get it. Well, there's a possibility the fall was an incident, not an accident. I know the Hojo couple was rather hated by the whole village into the business with the dam, but who would actually follow them on their trip and push them? Don't you think that's absurd? Well, we could call it an accident. But if that's the case, there are some lies which just don't make sense. Why the lies? That's why I don't think it was an accident. What lies? Well, Hojo Satoko said she was asleep at the time of the accident. I don't think that makes sense. Satoko claims she was asleep in the back seat when the accident took place, so she didn't get out of the car at the viewing platform. When she woke up, she didn't see her parents. Then she found out her parents had fallen off the cliff. Where's the lie? You aren't saying Satoko wasn't really asleep and she went to the viewing platform with her parents, are you? No, clearly. Oh, come on. How the hell would, anything get done if she's like, oh god, my parents fell off somehow, and somehow I know that. Somehow. That's right. Hojo Satoko wasn't asleep. She went to the viewing platform with her parents. I'm suddenly hit by a terrible possibility. If what Oichi is saying is true, and Satoko is saying she didn't go to the viewing platform, even though she actually did, it's terrible to even imagine. Why are you saying such a thing? Besides, why would Satoko lie? That's it. Why would Satoko lie? That's why I need to talk to her. Otherwise, this won't be a simple accident. Why do you say Satoko is lying? This accident took place in a different jurisdiction. The guys from Shirakawa Station conducted the interviews of the parties involved. There are things that bother me in their report. Bother you, like what? According to Hojo Satoko's statement, her parents asked her to go to the viewing platform, but she was sleepy, so she didn't get out of the car. Then she fell asleep and woke up after a while. She became concerned because her parents didn't come back and started to cry. One of the patrolling park workers noticed her crying and talked to her, and that's how the incident was discovered. During that time, the park worker says she told him that her parents had fallen off the cliff. But it's hard to see the accident site in question from where the car was parked. If you look very carefully, you might be able to notice the broken fence. But I think it's odd to say your parents had fallen off the cliff just because you don't see them when you wake up. Normally, most people would say something like, their parents went for a walk and didn't come back. They're gone. They went missing. Something like that. Why aren't they back? To me, it just doesn't make sense that she told a stranger that her parents had fallen off the cliff without even being at the site of the accident. I want to ask her why she was certain that her parents had fallen off the cliff. That's why I keep coming back here. I asked her many times before she was admitted here, but all she said was she doesn't remember and was confused at the time. Sounds like some politician, huh? That's why I think it's worth taking time to talk to her. The terrifying imagination turns to reality. I assumed her parents' accident triggered the terminal phase symptoms, but no. Satoko was already in the terminal phase back then. Just before the accident, her heart was filled with paranoia that drove her crazy. She was stressed out because of a bad relationship with her stepfather. Also, she was scolded by her mother for not being able to get along with him. If that made her paranoid, it made her think that her parents considered her to be a bother, and they were trying to kill her. And then they went to the viewing platform. She must have thought they were going to push her off the cliff. Then a tragedy took place and she pushed her parents off the cliff, though she considers it self-defense. How the fuck does a child push two grown-ass adults off a fucking platform? Get the fuck over yourselves, you weak-ass motherfuckers. Like, it would have to be no fence at all to be able to happen. And to be fair, I'm like, heights are one of my fucking terrifying fears. And I wouldn't be next to any fence that's broken on a cliff. I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm not going near there. I can see the view from the road over here. That's all I need. I'm certain of it because I know about the Hinamizawa syndrome better than anyone. This accident isn't an accident, and I was right. I guessed right. This isn't a crime either, like Oishi is thinking. It's simply a very, very sad tragedy. It kind of is a crime, though. It's a crime in the fact that she did kill her parents, but she's not guilty of it. Just to make that clear distinction. It was a crime. It was a crime. She did kill her parents. You can't deny that. She just wasn't aware that she was necessarily killing her parents for no reason. When I talked to Satoshi about the family, my belief was deepened even more. That's because he told me even though Satoko refused to open up to her stepfather, he tried to communicate with her. It's true their relationship didn't go well in the beginning. Satoko caused trouble repeatedly, and she even called the city's child abuse hotline. The Child Consultation Center stepped in at this point, and they pointed out that the lack of communication was the problem. The stepfather followed the advice and took the city's parenting course. At least he tried to communicate with her. Satoshi saw his efforts, so he tried to talk to Satoko about it. But Satoko couldn't see his effort, and excessive stress triggered some terminal phase symptoms, and she couldn't understand her stepfather's remorse and effort. On the contrary, the stepfather's change created even more mistrust in her. Ah, poor bastard. As a result, to enjoy the beautiful view of the Shirakawa Natural Park as a family, and to share the joy, even such a humble family wish didn't get through to Satoko. What a sad misunderstanding. Satoko stayed in the car telling her parents that she wanted to go to sleep, but then she got up, sneaked up behind them. I bet he heard the footsteps. He pretended not to notice her, thinking that she was doing that to surprise him. It makes me sad to think that he must have been It makes me sad to think what he must have been thinking. God damn, that's so fucking weirdly. I don't know, to me that's weirdly phrased. Well, he thought he had finally gotten through to her. She was actually attacking him with an intent to kill. Yeah, that's a fucking crime. You can't even defend that it's not a crime. That's a fucking crime. Disease or not, that's still a fucking crime. It's no fucking tragedy. No, that's a crime. She's not responsible in the sense that she wasn't fully aware of it, hopefully. If she was, then yeah, she's a fucking terrible person. But it's not Satoko's true nature. It's the disease. Satoko isn't the only one who is to be pitied. Her parents were pushed off the cliffs, our victims too. They're more of a victim than she is. Especially if they heard I would have fucking turned around. I'm too fucking paranoid as it is. Just say, what the fuck you doing? I thought you were tired. She's not sneaking up on my ass. Fuck that shit. And now Oishi thinks she's a criminal. Judgment and punishment are required for crimes with a malicious intent. But what she really needs is understanding and sympathy. And no one has that understanding, except for me, because I know about the Hinamizawa syndrome. Well, at least you don't think too highly of yourself, Mr. Righteous.